So it's been about one whole year now that I've been selling gym equipment, and it has been a crazy ride. I used to hear stories about how, like, just people I know would start with such little money and build something big. And I used to be like, okay, well, that's crazy. Like, there's nothing really I can do to copy that because it's so situational and based on a person's relationships. And I used to be somebody obsessed with like studying success to find out what made it work. You can study strategies. You can't study luck and coincidence and all the other things that come into play in a person's life, connections, things that happen. That's just a part of going down the actual path yourself, and you'll have to find out what's for you. But I had my first moment where I had $2,500. This is how all the gym stuff started. I wanted to buy gym equipment for a while. I see George buy gym equipment all the time. He puts it in Roman. And he bought a couple machines for a ridiculous price, like $500. Machines that would have cost $2,000 to $3,000. It was free motion cable crossover. When he did that, it was already in the back of my mind. I was like, dude, I want to buy some machines. I want to own something. I had a desire to own something because I was always doing videography. I was always like in the tech world, just behind a computer, but I just wanted to own something. Something about walking around, like when I see George and he owns everything in here. I thought that's so cool because it's yours. And I wanted to be able to buy something and know what it felt like to be like, hey, this is mine. Because everything was just digital. It was just me making videos and I have camera equipment. But whenever he bought those machines, I was like, dude, where did you get those? Like, I want to buy something. You got it for that ridiculous of a price. I just want something, even if it's just one machine. He reaches out and turns out the guy has a bunch of stuff left over. And turns out AutoZone bought out the gym. Basically the lease was ending it was Rising Fitness in Katy. Used to be a 24-hour fitness. I'm assuming the lease was up, wasn't much to do. The guy probably wasn't making money or he got a good payout. I don't know. But AutoZone's coming in and everything's got to go. And this guy, already had a couple gym owners go in there and grab all the good stuff. And what was left needed to be gone. So timeline was it needed to be out quick. We got the rest of the machines. I can't even tell you what it was. It was like 20, 30 machines for $5,000. $5,000. Now I had $2,500 and George was kind enough to say, I'll go in the other half and we'll do this together. We'll do 50-50. We'll get all the stuff out of there and we'll start selling it. And that's what we did. And we got storage units. We needed 6 storage units, 6 massive storage units to store everything. And that first deal got me enough money for the second deal. It was exact to the dollar, exactly what I needed for the second deal, which took every single dollar, like I just said, to make that happen. And it was in Anytime Fitness, not too far down the gym. And the Anytime Fitness, it went bankrupt. It was just never opened and it just sat there for way too long and the owner couldn't maintain it. So the equipment had to go. George negotiated an insane deal. The guy wanted, $20-something thousand more than what we got it for. But he was desperate. He needed to sell it and something was better than nothing. So George negotiated that deal. We locked it in. I put every dollar into it. And I started from zero. But once we sold that equipment, I was able to bring all that money back and then some. And that gave me enough cash to start being like, wow, dude, I can really do this. I can buy these gyms that are closing or at auctions or whatever, and we can resell the equipment and we make a whole lot more money than me going out here shooting fucking videos as a freelancer. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy making videos and websites and all the tech stuff, but it was starting to make me realize that, like, if you really wanted to make a lot of money, I was always like, what's a real business? I like the idea of a business. Like my vision of a business that I really enjoy is something that people can actually see, they could touch, they could visit. It's in person. You're making buying decisions based on how people are going to interact. So like if a customer comes and they see the machine and they like it, that makes me happy. That's what I want. And like when I think about a gym, I enjoy going here and making sure that everything is working and whatever my responsibilities are, making sure that things are up to date and they're good and they're clean. And it's just great because I want the person on the other end to have an amazing experience. I feel like as a business owner, you want to be a good host to your customers and you want to be able to take care of them. And that's something that I really find myself wanting to do. And so being able to buy gym equipment and look at it and be like, oh my God, I own this. I went from owning nothing to being able to do these deals. And it was really big thanks to being able to have. Now, look, don't get me wrong. The videography is what got my foot in the door. I wouldn't even be friends with George if I didn't bring something to the table, right? I don't just shoot the shit just to shoot the shit. All right. If we're going to be friends, there's going to be some sort of trade or value going on here. there's way too much to be done for there not to be some mutual benefit. As a man, I believe it's important that two men are supposed to share resources together. And without that, if you're just chit-chatting and drama, there's nothing for you there. I don't give a fuck to talk to you. So as long as there's some sort of mutual exchange, we're good. And that's kind of what happened with me and George. I was at the front desk of a gym. He's opening his gym. I'm working the front desk at that gym. I'm doing marketing for that gym. I love camera stuff. I'm making videos. And George needs somebody to promote the gym because he's taking social media serious. And so, boom. It lined up. And years after that, we've worked together, and I've witnessed an entire legacy of Roman iron and Roman Empire being built. And it was the person that I've been with this whole time. And it was just wild to see. And it's so inspiring. I don't ever look down. I don't ever get spiteful. It's something where I'm like, he did it. He did this. He didn't know all these things. He just knew that if I do this and do that and open a gym and figure it out along the way, it's going to work. And sure fucking did. But his idea, the idea of what he saw and what made it stand out, the big dream, the big vision, that was huge in making it work. And of course, luck plays its part. And when I say luck, I just mean right place at the right time, the right opportunity to show up, the right people come in. But it would never happen that way had he had not started to build it and started to move forward. And so you pretty much just have to get going. And so now that I'm buying and selling gym equipment, I am super excited because one of the things that I've always been so passionate about is like, I want to be able to build a company where I could take good care of the employees that are there. I really love taking care of people, and I've never been in a place to have excess money to be able to really do that. I mean, I struggled for a long time, even just providing for Caitlin, my wife, whenever we were together for the longest time. I mean, I didn't have much money. She would pay for meals. She was honestly the one that had the job. I'm staying at her fucking house, trying to grind away at this videography shit. And and she's out there hustling, and I admire her a lot because she knows how to fucking work. And not that she wants to. She doesn't, aspire to be a businesswoman and do all that, but I do sometimes fear that she would be amazing at it and a big threat. But I'm learning from her so that she could kind of teach me how to think like her a little bit more because she's great, and I'm learning a lot from that. But she used to provide for me in the very beginning days. Not that I needed a lot, but that she did, right? Meals and all that good stuff. She provided food, and that was super fucking amazing of her. And now it's at a point where she's working from home. Thankfully, me and George have been able to work together to the point where it makes sense. Where like she doesn't even have to go to work anymore. She could stay and take care of the family. And I'm super thankful for that, man. She could be a full-time mom raising a family, but now the fire's been lit, and I just realized like there's so much possibility and that you can fucking do this shit. And, I still feel like I'm on square one, very beginning stages here, just getting started, but I'm super excited to build this company into something where it's going to have employees. You could take care of people and you can serve customers. And I love the challenge of thinking to myself, like, I love solving problems, and I want to be pushed, and I want to be challenged. And all the years of being in the gym and learning that, like, you have to learn to live in a cycle of constantly getting in a state of stress and then adapting, and stress and adapting. And honestly, that's how I think growth is supposed to be. And a lot of people think growth is supposed to be just this nice, beautiful path where you grow and everything's easy. And I'm like, no, growth comes just like the gym. It's such a great analogy, but like, no matter how experienced you are, you're going through a constant cycle of things are stressful. They get tough, and then your body adapts, and then now you've got to make it stressful again. So as you keep pushing, you keep hitting these walls, and that's going to be the same in business. And one of the things I'm learning now that we've been buying and selling this gym equipment is I want to learn how to actually ship things freight-wise beyond Texas, right? There's buyers everywhere, and Houston is a hot market. If I could buy machines and ship them back to Houston and sell them in the Houston market, or even vice versa, and take machines that are here in Houston and ship them to other hotspot metro areas, I mean, that'll be phenomenal. And trying to figure out, right? If I find a gym that's closing down in, say, California, how am I supposed to make bids, win, factor in the cost, and then have a team of people actually, either go out there or have people in California help me palletize stuff and ship it back to Houston, right? So those are the kind of problems that I'm facing now, but those are good problems, and I love those problems. Currently people go to the site and all they can buy is the 5-pin selected pieces that I have available. And it's like, okay, well, there's a lot more that people want. They're asking for cardio, dumbbells, all sorts of home gym stuff, cable crossovers, and this is like treadmills. And the thing is like, if I don't have the ability to provide that, well, then it's pretty much useless. So if we're to obsess over the customer experience, then we want to make sure that we have those things in stock. So it's my job to figure out how to make sense of their demands. You never try to make their demands make sense the opposite way, which I see a lot of gyms do this. Sorry, not gyms, businesses. They try to explain, well, it doesn't work that way, blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. When a customer makes a demand from you, you find a way to make it happen, no matter how big or no small. All right? Some of them, they don't make sense, right? There's good ones, there's bad ones, there's in between. But you always want to find a way to make the customer's experience and give them what they want, because they talk. And the better you can do that, the better your score is reputation wise, the much easier business is going to be when you really give a fuck and you try to go out of the way to do something good. And that's just kind of where I stand right now. I wanted to share with you guys like just how mind blown I am that it started off with just being like a videographer and traveling and doing that, working with clients, making fitness videos, to getting my foot in the door with connecting with business owners. So like this field is great. It was amazing. I've built a huge amount of relationships from it, but now I'm starting to turn that into something real. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm super grateful for the position I'm in. I mean, everything I do here at Roman, thank God, is like stuff that I am keeping and learning to build as a person, right? There's skill sets that I'm able to learn from and keep with me. So wow, that's pretty cool, man. Super excited. I'm going to keep sharing with you guys this journey. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, man.